Evening. Welcome to Berardi and Coke with myself, Jay, and pod regular Smarty for the Leeds versus Portsmouth thriller. How you doing, Smarty?
I'm all right, mate. All right. Steady away for the Monday.
Feels weird being back doing this.
You've done more pre-season pods than I have.
I know.
I think I've done one since the end of last year.
I don't think I've really hosted though. I feel all out of sorts.
You look quite wet. You look like you've been drowned. You look like a werewolf here, something like you're about to start barking at Moon or like that.
We'll see what happens, mate. We'll see what happens.
Right,
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds eating bastard.
Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No.
He's a utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really. Well, they were a little bit spectacular, I think, but probably not for the right reasons.
It was briefly, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the pre-season went so well. And we looked so good. And everyone were talking it up. HMS piss the league, and we don't need them players we've sold. We've got a great first 11. And
so that's the first thing you shouldn't do, really, innit? I mean, after everything we went through last season, you know, everyone started tweeting, "Oh, we're going to piss this league. We're going to, you know." I think a lot of people act back to Bielsa's second season and how well we did initially, you know, and obviously, you know, at the end of it got promoted anyway. But I think that's the general outlook of everyone. Everyone were pretty positive. I don't think there were many, apart from negative Nigel Gilly. You know, everyone's been relatively positive, you know, going through pre-season, and we've looked like we've played well. You know, I haven't obviously watched any live games or anything. I've seen highlights like the majority of people.
You weren't allowed to watch them live, Smarty.
Well, that is also true. Even the TV wireless wasn't working, were they? We couldn't get anything out of anywhere.
Big shout out to Johnny Brown again, though, for revealing one of the results immediately before any of us had a chance to watch it.
Yeah, he's watching.
And
he'll be watching. He'll have opened a fresh can of pedigree or whatever it is, dockyard ale or whatever it'll be. Probably going down to local pubs asking for dregs out of drip trays or something, knowing him.
Bit of dirt water best.
He's a classy lad, one of Hull's finest.
He is.
I mean, we've not obviously featured on many pods because obviously I've got, you know, such a hectic lifestyle, etc.
Well, you know, you're in the swingers club.
And you're the busiest man. Hold on a second. Just turn your head to the side.
Hey?
Just keep turning. Turn your head to the side. What? Go on. No, fuck off.
Ain't?
What the fuck is that? What is that back of your head?
It's the new look, mate. It's promotion season.
Mate, you that needs to come off.
I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you.
You look like you've just been picked. You look like you've just been picked from a fucking. So what on earth is that, man? No.
How dare you?
Cannot let you go out in public sporting that bloody horrible thing. Look at Stevie, it's not even a proper ponytail. Oh, God, I can't speak.
It's just at the top.
Wait until others see this. You better not come to a game looking like that.
Of course I'm going to come looking like this.
Oh, Jesus. Wolf. That's what she said. Anyway, before we get... So, yeah, obviously, we've not featured too much. So, what were your thoughts coming into this game, or, like, generally, you know, off the back of the pre-season stuff, what were your thoughts coming into the game, then?
To be honest, I was a bit concerned.
Because you were a little bit elsewhere, weren't you? So you didn't actually get to watch the game live, but obviously everyone had thoughts prior to said game.
Yeah,
so
that's right. I mean, I was at a wedding and I did watch it, but I was having to keep sort of turning for inconsiderate people making speeches and stuff. So there were bits, you know, I didn't really get to see properly. I've watched highlights again. I know somebody will hammer us for me not being at the ground and all that, but these things happen. But yeah, I mean, coming off the pre-season, I thought, wow, we look good. We do look good. And if we get a couple of additions in, then, you know, we really could do something this season. But then all your optimism gets drained out of you within sort of 10, 20 minutes of a game, doesn't it? Because it's Leeds. I had this idea in my head that it was going to be like Bielsa's first game. Like, we were just going to go out there and tear it up and we're all just going to be amazed and like, oh, we're on it this year, we're doing it. But it just... we looked so good initially, and we had all those shots hitting the bar, and you just thought, Jesus, we're going to hammer these. And then we did what we do, and we let them in from nothing, really. And yeah, that's, we'll go into specifics, but that's my initial feelings.
Everyone was obviously, like I said, on the whole, a positive fan base, very positive. Everyone's liking the kits. Well, I don't know about the white one, but everyone's loving the yellow kit. Very nice.
Absolutely.
Although, if you do buy one, folks, don't touch anything. Don't even touch yourself, obviously. Not in public. Because they click quite badly. They click quite badly. I've not touched anyone. I've literally sat in my car on way to the ground, and by the time I got to Beer Garden at Peacock, one of the lads went, "You've clicked your shirt already." I'm like, "How can you even touch
That's going to really upset me."
Bloody Lindsay Epper were at Beer Garden after Peacock. She was like frigging train lines all over her. Frigging hell, she'd been just fainting with a bush outside, chuffing ground or something, honestly. So yeah, everyone's happy. I was happy. I was really excited, really looking forward to the game. First 20 minutes, first 10 minutes, obviously we scored, but the first 6 or 7 minutes we were hitting the bar constantly. I turned to one of the lads and went, I hope it's not one of them sort of games which, we end up just not being able to do anything and not being able to finish us chuffing dinner or whatever.
Like a Wigan.
But no, we were absolutely all over them. And it looks like they were just a massive golfing class for the first, like I say, for the first 20 minutes or so. And then out of nowhere, our good old keeper with the arthritic What's-It crisps for fingers decided to just not bother trying to save it. And I mean, Bogle was obviously caught out of position, and it was like watching Marsh ball all of a sudden again. Flashbacks.
Oh God.
No one at right back, big gaping hole. Well, obviously
good old days.
And it was just like, what? This can't happen. And then bang, it's 1-1. And I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, have we been complacent here? Are we not really concentrating? Maybe a lapse of concentration since we thought we were going to piss it, seeing as though we've tinged the bar a million times and scored a decent penalty, which we've completely glossed over by the way.
You've skipped past that.
I have, because I think I left the game. Obviously, we will go into the game a little bit more, but I think I left the game feeling a little bit disappointed. Well, not a little bit, really disappointed. Glad that we obviously got the draw, because it was more than what we deserved, because we were the miles better team on the day. But just feeling a little bit like, for fuck's sake. Everyone, like you already said, we were hoping for a decent result. First game of the season, we want to kick on. Basically, kick his heels and crack on with season or whatever, and it's just not happened. But I'm not going to think too much about it. I'm not going to get my tits in a twist just yet, because it's the start of the season and things happen. Teams finding the feet or whatever. It's just a bit of a shitter that a team from League One that's just been promoted has just come to Elland Road and stuck 3 goals past us. So
do you think it feels worse because the whole narrative about this season was we're not going to start badly like we did last year? We're going to smash it this time. We've got a proper pre-season. And then we've gone out and got a draw again.
I mean, we are light, aren't we? I mean, we've still a few players to recruit. We were hearing all sorts of stories, before the game that Rowe hadn't obviously made himself available for Norwich and stuff like that. And it's like, ooh. Yeah. But we are light. I mean, but saying that, we're in a much better position than we were last season. So that's when you compare it to their squad that they've brought up from League One, it's chalk and cheese. And I think their manager said so much in his post match interview. He said the sort of thing that we've got loads of Premier League quality, which we do. Yeah. I mean, they're in the Championship now. They're not in the Premier League. The guys that obviously were our best player, Cree's gone to the Premier League, etc., etc. But yeah, it's they were a golfing class, and for those first initial 20 minutes or so, you could really, really tell. Yeah. Then they get a goal and their tails are up, and we're thinking, what the friggin' hell's going on? Yeah.
What were it like on the ground, by the way, when that goal went in? Did it do that sucking the air out sensation?
Yeah. I think, obviously, it's like, well, this isn't supposed to happen. This doesn't suit my narrative.
Not what we came for.
First game of the season. What the chuff's going on, Daniel Fark? How dare you? How dare we be 1-1 going into the chuffing? And then obviously they scored again. Fucking hell. You see, right, that goal, their second goal, an absolute belter of an effort, and I can't fucking knock the lad. Player, his name completely has gone out of my head. I knew as well. Oh shit, that's going to really piss me off. I can't remember his name, but he struck it well. I mean, his first touch, obviously, Peter Sutcliffe would have been proud of, but he didn't half bury it. He didn't half bury it, and then sometimes that's what you've got to do. I mean, time and time again last season, we were saying so much that we should be having a go outside the box. We should be trying to drill one in from out because we've got the players to do it. And we just don't. We're still trying to play tiki-taka around the box and stuff. I did think that we ran the channels well. I thought, Phil, I nearly said. I thought Matteo Joseph played very, very well. For his first league game, I thought it looked class. To be fair, and like I say, some of the the same stuff from last season, which were the same sort of frustrations. Georgie maybe doing slightly too much. Hopefully Rodon hasn't got a bit of the low knee disease where he turns to absolute rat shit now that we've signed him permanently. It wasn't his best game.
Curse.
It wasn't his best game. I think some of his passing was sloppy. I'm not going to say that the second goal was his fault, even though he was the last player to touch it, obviously. But it's a defensive header. He's cleared it out, and then the guy, let's say, he's just leathered it in. I mean, Mellier's got nowhere near it, has he?
No.
So it's frustrating going in. You're thinking that this is how it's going to pan out. We're going to, the first 10 minutes or so, we're thinking, this is going to be a 3-0 easy win, and then Bosch going into half time 2-1 down. You're thinking, fucking hell, this isn't good.
That's it. And the attacking movement when we started out looked amazing. We looked as good as ever. Some of the through balls and stuff we were playing, and the movement looked fantastic. There were points sort of at the end of last season where a lot of the movement seemed to evaporate, didn't it? And people just weren't showing as much anymore. They weren't making runs, and we just looked static at times. It looked like that had been kind of sorted out for me.
Yeah, I think Scooby said it was as much in the comments. He said it's. He says it was noticeable on TV as soon as they equalised, a flating first outing or falling apart. Again, hardly rousing. Needs to be sacked. Are you talking about
a bit strong?
Pompey till I die when losing, then typical. What?
Maybe it means the chant needs to be sacked off.
I don't know.
You have to let us know, Scuba.
I don't know, Scooby. Explain yourself. It sounds like you're asking for Daniel Fatt to be sacked there. To be fair, I mean, I've been quite, opinionated about the atmospheres at Elland Road for a little while now. For the last couple of seasons, they've been poor. Where's your famous?
Yeah, you've slated it a lot.
No, I wouldn't say a lot.
You didn't.
I've not slated it as much as I'd like to. I don't think. I have held back. Because there's that many people out. On social media and stuff like that, saying how much of a great atmosphere we've got, and making excuses when other teams are giving us a bit of stick for it. Yeah, because our atmosphere is absolutely shite compared to what it used to be. When we were shit, the fans is all that we had. We were proud. We were proud of not the fact that we were shit, but we were proud of the fact that the fans, were in the stadium still, and we hadn't turned us back on the club, and that we were still going, and we were singing loud and proud. There were 17,000, 20,000 of us. Those crowds were better than the ones we've got now. Well, but you're going back a little bit further than that. But the crowds when they were smaller, it was just basically that were our badge of honour. Now. And I don't want to say it's touristy fans or anything like that, because who are we to call a touristy fan or whatever. But I just think I just think that the Leeds jacket is a little bit heavy to wear. The air of expectation, stuff like that. As soon as things don't seem to be going to plan, it's like, oh fucking hell.
Yeah.
Lots of people just shutting up and just folding their arms and moaning a lot. But it definitely didn't go to plan. I mean, obviously they came out all singing, all dancing in the second half. Nonto scored a lovely solo goal, and fair play to
I love that. He won the ball back himself, didn't he? He made everything about that himself.
Yeah. And then, so I think there's some decent performances, some not so good. Jaden Bogle, we did hear the Sheffield United fans say that, he was absolutely horse meat defence, but really, really good going forward. And to be fair, it's exactly what it says on the tin. So far so good.
Now we've got 2 Furpos.
Yeah, but I mean, in this league, you can get away with it more than in Premier League. I mean,
well, obviously not.
The Sheffield United have got nowhere
not when
to
they
hide.
both stand in the same place, anyway.
Well, no, that is obviously an issue, and that's definitely need to be addressed.
That's got to be sorted.
There were some clear lines of communication there from Ampadu and a couple of others saying, you two need to swap back and and like you said, they were both in the same position at one point. It's like, come on, lads. They ended up scoring from it. But I'm like I say, it's his first game. There might be. I mean, what can you say? We just got to hope that they sort that sort of shit out and that they're aware of where, the positional awareness and stuff like that, because it wore a bit shaky.
Yeah.
But centre
that's
mid,
the kind of thing the manager's got to deal with, though.
Oh, sorry, it needs to be sacked. Pompey signing. Pompey singing, Pompey till I die when losing was rousing. Now then, they didn't sing a peep when they were losing. When they were drawing, they did. When they were 1-0 down, they went absolutely not a single peep from them. I mean, you know, someone else. I mean, no, I'm going to argue facts. No, they didn't say fuck all. I'm sat right next to them. They didn't sing fuck all. I'll
You'd
always
have been telling them to pipe down if they were, wouldn't you?
I'll listen to anyone. Anyone can say whatever, but they absolutely didn't sing when they were 1-0 down. Definitely not. They didn't sing a peep, really. I mean, there might have been murmurs or whatever, but they were fantastic fans. I'm not knocking the Pompey fans; they were absolutely brilliant. You could hear the Pompey fans at the top of frigging Beeston Hill. Oh yeah. Honestly, by White Hart,
you don't get that very often, do you?
And you don't at all. Wind were coming that way, so whatever. But yeah, you could hear them already by the time I'd got to the top at White Hart. I'm like, frigging hell. Yeah. And I got down and it was chuffing. Aye, fair play to them. It's nice because we miss that sometimes, with shit fans that come to Elland Road and stuff like that. You as fans, you like to sort of, sort of rattle around each other. You'll throw some shit, we'll throw some shit back.
Yeah.
You've got a competition,
game,
you can sing loud. That's what it's all about.
That's the game.
Sometimes we don't get that. And especially with sometimes the football that we watch is a little laborious on the eyes, should we say?
Yeah.
It just sucks life out of you. And if there's no crowd from opposition, then it's just a really flat game. But
it's hard to make an atmosphere on your own sometimes, isn't it? You need a bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
But, it does play a big part. It's a good effort from them though for a 12:30 on a Saturday.
Yeah, it was shit when it was too early, innit?
Stupid kickoff time.
I felt, all this Sky Plus, whatever it is, this new channel or whatever, is going to bloody ruin football, I think. Luckily for us, we've got a decent fan base that'll want to come and turn up to stands, but, for the sort of the smaller clubs and stuff that, are trying to attract people to the to the football grounds and stuff that aren't filling, them sort of crowds and stuff. It's not good, is it?
No.
But,
no.
It is what it is. What can we do? Sky TV's fucking shit, as they say.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? That's it. We all know.
What do you reckon to the second half then? Obviously, after Nanto's goal.
So some of the stuff I wrote down because I can't remember anything. You know what I'm like. Joseph, with some of the misses he were unlucky not to score. I thought. I really wish he had. There was a shot from Ruta, but it was straight at the keeper. I think Willie played a part in setting that one up again, and he was cutting in again like Somerville used to do and getting balls across and stuff. He looked good, did Willie for me. He had a good game, I think. He potentially could step into that role for us, but we still need somebody else in the squad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of players. I'm honest, I don't have a clue who they are that we've been linked with. The kid from Palace, Saki or something.
Saki does off by the sounds of it.
Is he sacking us off? Is he like Rowe? Is he?
I think
they're still keen on Rowe. I think they're still hopeful they'll get that done. But
I think that's happening. I think that's why it's gone quiet. None of the journalists have updated anything for days.
Yeah,
and that tends to be
I'm
what
absolutely
happens.
Sure. We are short, in numbers. We are. I mean, we're all right for now. You look at that bench, it's fine. But as soon as I start a couple of niggly little injuries and stuff, those fringe players are going to need to be called to first team or the starting 11 or whatever. And we need players to come in on bench. We want players fighting for positions in the team. We can't. Those positions aren't given.
You can't just assume you can turn up and play because where's your motivation?
Yeah, I think mainly, and I don't really want to say this because it's a bit entitled. But I think we need like a marquee signing, someone that makes someone that makes a little bit of a statement of intent.
Yeah,
because so far, yes, we've got Rodon, brilliant bit of business. Rothwell, I was quite happy with. I know others weren't, but I think he's a solid squad player. I think and to bring him on, he's very direct and he plays ball through the channels. And
do you think he's any worse than Kamara?
No, absolutely not. No.
Exactly. So for me, that's a like-for-like replacement.
So
at least in sort of strength of the player, maybe not positionally.
The thing is, you look at last season, we didn't score a single goal until the Norwich semi-final from the centre of midfield.
Yeah,
we're one of the lowest, in fact, second lowest from output from the centre of midfield. You've got Gruev and Kamara for the most part of the season. Not cancelling each other out, but basically doing the same sort of job. Gruev's there to break up play and whatever, but you've got Mr. Sideways Shimmy Shake that as much as a great player is, and I don't want to knock him. He's ineffective. Great defensively, which we were for the main part of the season, but we need that little bit more. We need that more output from centre of midfield, and I think Rothwell just ticks that box. He's not afraid. He's got a good eye. He's got a good pass, good range of passing, and he's got a good eye for a goal. Granted, he's not Somerville. You're not going to
He'll take a shot though, won't he, from outside the box?
Exactly. So the substitutions for me didn't really float my boat, if I'm honest. Taking both wingers off.
I've seen a lot of people saying this, that he got the subs wrong.
I think so.
Everyone goes mad when he doesn't make them, but then if he does make them and they're not what people want, then everyone goes mad anyway.
He just seemed a little bit naive. I mean, Daniel James had their left back on absolute toast. Their left back gave us the penalty that struck nicely and was slotted away, by the way. And then he got booked again in second half, and I thought, this guy's got him on absolute strings. He's only, he just needs to keep pinging it down there. Nonto were having a lot of success down the left as well. Yeah. And then he took them both off, and as much as I mean, we'll get on to the the substitutions and those that came on, obviously.
Yeah.
Or one particular person that came on to a rapturous applause by. But yeah, I just think maybe a little bit naive to take both off, maybe one perhaps, and then see how it goes. But to take to take both off would a bit daft. But yeah, I'm not paid by Leeds United to coach a first 11.
We didn't really mention the penalty, actually. What did you think when Strike stepped up? Were you nervous?
I shit myself at first because I thought, but then I remembered one of the lads in the crowd says, he took one last year, and I thought, he did actually. I mean, there's obviously a reason why he's taking the penalties, because you wouldn't be shit. You wouldn't give it to one of your centre backs, would you? Unless they were absolutely class.
No. It just doesn't feel right, does it?
It does seem a little bit weird. I kind of thought that Joseph had taken the ball and just to get his kind of numbers up and just to get his ball, just nicely slot one in. But hey, that were a nice penalty, and you can't knock it.
It was, and if he keeps taking them like that, he can do them as long as he likes. For me,
cool and calm. Yeah,
absolutely.
Nice. Cool and calm.
I thought both penalties were penalties, by the way. What did you think?
It's hard to argue against it because at the end of the day, Bogle's got his arm around him.
Yeah, it was silly.
However, you know damn well if that had been us, we wouldn't have got a penalty.
Probably. But you give them that option when you put your arm around like that, don't you?
I suppose you do, but I mean, unless the referee's blind or ignorant, the foul, they started grabbing each other outside the box, way outside the box.
I did notice that part, actually. But I didn't know if it were enough to be counted.
At what point is the foul a foul?
Yeah.
Is it a foul once it's stopped and the defender, the attacker sees that he's inside the box and throws himself on the floor, or does it start 3 or 4 yards outside the box where initial contact was made and they were both all over each other? Again, it's that old saying, it's down to interpretation, innit, I suppose. But for me, I thought that were a bit of a cheap one to concede. But hopefully...
It was definitely a cheap one. I agree with you on that.
I mean, we haven't really spoken about the referee, and I just thought it was quite, on the whole, a fairly poor performance. We say it every week, so it's nothing new, is it? You kind of get...
No, that's true.
It's boring, and it's
but we get poor performances for different reasons. I mean, what were it with this guy, do you think? Just a lack of control, or do you think he were overzealous the other way?
Say that again, sorry. I think you went a little bit then. It might be just me.
Do you think it were a lack of control from him, or do you think he went the other way with too overzealous?
Oh, Bogle,
the referee.
Oh, sorry, the ref. It's difficult to say, innit? Because they were pulling shirts. They were doing enough to disrupt players, but not enough to probably, call a foul. Just a cheeky little shirt pull or whatever, or a grab and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then Rodon, gets booked for doing exactly what they've been doing all game.
Yeah.
Or is that maybe is that Rodon being naive and getting sucked into doing exactly what they're doing? I mean, it's enough. I mean, you can get away with a little tug and a little push and a little this and the other, which they were doing quite well. They were breaking up play. I have obviously I've asked you to stick one of the graphics up in the in the brand or whatever, and we'll show that in a second.
Yeah,
They were breaking up play a lot. And and they did it well. They absolutely hoodwinked the referee. But yeah, I thought they got away with a lot, probably a little bit too much, a little bit too easy.
You think that was their game plan?
I think so. I think they had a
Disruptors.
very, very direct approach. I mean, obviously, I've not seen that style of football where it was weird actually. It's kind of an Allardyce meets Marsh sort of football, wasn't it? They absolutely
Jesus
lumped
Christ.
it forward. They didn't ever play out from the back. And they seem to operate in little pockets. They had little pockets of players chasing the football around. I mean, for the most part, they were obviously penned back into their areas.
Yeah,
we had much more possession, and we obviously passed the ball and we moved the ball around a lot better than them. But they seemed to be. It was kind of that whole. I think it's the Summit Press. What's it called?
Oh, Gegenpress.
Gegenpress or whatever it is. Maybe a little bit of that. There seem to be little pockets of players like doubling up on others and running after the ball, like headless chickens or whatever. But yeah,
you should be able to exploit that though if you can get around.
I thought so,
because it should leave you space in other areas if you can get the ball out.
Yeah, but I mean, fucking hell, it's a strange style that to lump it forward and then have people chasing after it. It's like it is like a proper Sunday league.
Yeah,
but
everyone trying to get on the end of it.
End of the day, they've scored 2 goals from doing it. So,
well, we've got your graphic here that you wanted to
stick it up.
Bring up, so I'll bring it up here. You can explain this.
So yeah, this is a graphic of obviously the percentages of ball in play based on match time. So as you can see right at the top, Cardiff versus Sunderland, based on 97 minutes. The ball's in play for 58, which is 60%. And right at the very bottom, we find ourselves and Portsmouth with 101 minutes played, 47 actually played. I mean, that's
unreal.
So match time 101. Because obviously there's audio people listening, should I say. Our stats are match time total was 101 minutes, ball in play for 47.4, so which gives obviously a 47% of actual percentage of ball in there. I mean, that's just fucking...
That is crackers.
I mean, it's horrible.
That is crackers. I mean...
It's just...
That is anti-football.
But the thing is, I mean, we saw it last season. Teams. That is how teams.
Where did we Wolves?
Well, we've had it a lot. With our style of play. But the thing is, for us, we don't have the firepower to be able to break those sort of teams down. We did look all right. I don't really have any qualms about Saturday's performance. I thought we did well. We played through channels, and players like Matteo Joseph and stuff are quite happy to try and bust through their defence, and like I say, we've already said that he played well and stuff, but we just need to make sure that we take these teams to the sword. I mean, ideally we'd have been 3-0 up in 10 minutes anyway, so that'd have completely blown their frigging plan to the chuffing.
Yeah, that would have been the end of them. It'd have been like a trading session if we'd done that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a difficult one to take, but obviously Brendan Aronson, right at the death, got kind of a half redemption, shall we say?
So one of those subs there.
Yeah, Mr. Aronson came on.
What was that like?
What the fucking hell's just going on there? Sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm just looking at the substitutions. I'm just going to pull the subs up. I just had a bit of a doofer. Bamford came on in the 79th minute, but it were made. So the 3 substitutions that were made: Joe Rothwell came on for Gruev, Aronson came on for Nonto, to a wonderful standing ovation, as you can probably imagine, and Daniel James came on for Pirro. Pirro obviously assisted Aronson, and to be fair to the lad, he took it well.
He did, yeah. It was a great finish.
Would you right? So say you were at the game, would you have booed him when he came on?
Probably not, but I wouldn't have cheered either.
See, for me, that's exactly what should have happened.
You reckon?
Because I could see him warming up at the side of the pitch. I was just clearing my throat ready for fucking boo, giving it. But I didn't. I just thought, you know what? For me, my mind changed in a split second because I thought I want to make sure that that I think you're a fucking arsehole for leaving this. Just briefly, And then I can get that off my chest and then support you from here out. At the end of the day, I'm not one for booing players. I don't think it achieves anything really. However, on the flip side of that, the majority of and there were a lot of people falling out with each other in South Stand when it happened actually, but the majority last season, when we were singing Willing On To Is a Wanker, all those said people that were arguing the toss were actually singing it. So I was like, yeah, fucking hypocrite, are you? So, I said, end of the day, it didn't do him to any damage or whatever. Or so, we don't know, do we? Probably did. But I thought, right at the end, I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to not say anything. I'm not going to cheer him. I'm not going to boo him. And that would have been the ideal situation for me, is for him to just come on to some absolute silence.
That would have been really weird, wouldn't it?
Right.
But it would have made
now you've got to fucking prove yourself. Prove yourself. You said you want to be here. You said you want to play for our team. You're going to fight for this shirt. Yeah. You've been a twat. Prove your fucking self. And prove himself he did, ish. Although his first touch, I think his first pass went out for a throw-in.
Yeah, I think so.
Which
the old Aronson's still in there.
It's like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, he took his shot well, and fair play to him, and he didn't celebrate. He didn't do any ear cupping or anything like that.
Yeah,
fair play to him. He just ran back.
Did the right thing with that for me.
And then obviously, he had the chance to 100% nip everything in the bud. Yeah. And then friggin' shanked that friggin' shot. I mean, I'm sure it would have been harder to miss that than friggin' score it. I'm sure it would have been. I could not believe. I've tried to put myself in this position. I can't do it because I've never played in front of thousands of people before. But I tried to put myself in this position where you think you get an opportunity like that if you've ever played. And you think, holy shit, your eyes wide. It's like, oh my god, what an opportunity! And then you look and go, ooh, I don't know how to play football. It's like that's basically what it did.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean,
it looked like
he
nearly tripped over himself.
Did you see the players like that? Melier were on floor, Rodon were on floor. They were all on floor in the back. How the hell did this guy just missed that? I mean,
they're all thinking if only Joseph had been on that.
Oh God! But
But hey, listen, he scored one. He's equalled his tally from last time he played for us. So the only way is up for that kid.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Do you think he's going to re-ingratiate himself? Do you think people will be behind him?
Re-ingratiate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get spell checker Gilly to review that one. But no. Do you know what? I think last season I did actually say, and I have this on video as evidence, by the way, before anyone starts saying, no, you didn't, fucking bet you didn't. I did, and I said, it's a shame we didn't manage to keep hold of Aronson because I actually think he could be beneficial for us in this league. I'm not saying that he will be in the Premier League because we've seen what he's like in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
But, that sort of player, if he can learn, I mean, I'm sorry, if Joseph can stay on his feet and throw centre-backs around, but hold his own against these big burly centre-backs in this championship, then Aronson, who's pretty much similar sort of size, should be able to do it in midfield. I mean, if you're fouled in this league, you're properly fouled. You're not throwing yourself on floor. And there were a moment where I thought he actually did get tackled, or there were a bit of a coming together, and he stayed on his feet, and I thought, he would have normally gone down there in Prem. So hopefully he's listened.
Maybe
he's aware, and he's like, right, I'm gonna. And like I say, I hope he proves himself, and because he's a good player, he carries the ball well. He's got, I think his boots are made out of fucking Rubik's cubes or something. Because Jesus Christ, how we missed that, frig knows.
Paul Brennan likes him. He says having Brendan back will be like a new signing. It's a big season for the lad.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully now that the crowd's giving him some shit, he knows he's been a naughty boy. He's a shit house. But I think that's it. Hopefully he's been put to bed now, and next time he comes on, it'll just be standard, and we can get behind him.
You'll get a couple of people that'll still boo.
Yeah, you will. You will.
I think the majority, like you say, I think that'll be it. Most people have got it out of system, and we move on now, don't we?
Because he scored as well, I think he'll have a lot more support next time he comes onto the field.
Probably.
Verba, for me, I don't think he's going to be here by the end of the transfer window.
He doesn't feel like it.
A lot of people are saying the same, but I mean, there's reasons why he's not, unless he's a shivering shithouse, who knows? But there's a reason why he's not being interviewed by the media. Like I say, unless he's just being a coward and don't want to face facts. But to go from being here at this stage last season, just before the season started. Sorry, he was still with the camp.
It was right at the start, wasn't it?
he hightailed it off to Germany or whatever he went.
Yeah.
And
Slunk off.
Fucking prick.
At that point as well.
Yeah.
Just a shit
I mean,
house move.
we were threadbare last season. Start of last season, we had freaking Hjelde playing. We had Elland, who was still, I reckon, he's still doing a bloody good job, Elland. He's not as mobile as he used to be, but he could still do a frigging good job, and we'll see probably on Wednesday. I absolutely guarantee he'll do a chuffing another air out ponytail.
Oh, he probably will, yeah.
Volley into top bins.
And everyone will probably jeer him, to be honest.
Yeah, they would do, to be fair. And Cooper, so, we had a real makeshift defence last season. And, the defence that we've got this season, Firpo, Bogle, Rodon, Strike, that's a really good defence. And to concede 3 goals against the Portsmouth side, their own fans admitted that they were a bit shaky and they've got quite a few injuries and they were, they weren't confident coming into it. I just think, friggin' hell, we've really, really given them an easy ride here. It should have been put to bed, and they should have, really, really early on. But hopefully they learn from it, and we can put it right next week against West Brom.
Well, that's the hope, innit? Arthur Bushby says, "Tell you here, Bogle not good enough for Leeds. He's not having him." I think it's a bit early for that. I think so, but he will have to learn quickly.
Yeah, I mean, players have shaky performances. I mean, look at the Golden by Archie Gray. He had a couple of absolute howlers against certain teams last season.
The first time he played against that Miller, he got ripped apart by him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Didn't Jack Clark rip him a new one as well?
I think he did all right.
At least in the first half.
I think he did all right.
I think he did the second time, but first time I'm sure he
did. We play Sunderland straight after whatever Miller played. Plymouth that Miller played for.
Plymouth,
Miller. Played them 4 bloody times that chuffing season.
God, I know, yeah.
But I think you know what, jury's not out on him. I think we just need to get in some game time. I think he just needs to settle. But I think the guys playing. Rodon's next to him, and I think he just needs to get a grip of him. So, back here.
You're being called out here.
Get back here. Firpo Bogle, really good defence. You're supposed to be reading these comments out, Jay.
No, I've put that up for you because you've been called out. You said we had a really good defence when you listed the players.
Well, it is. I'm not being funny, but Bogle's a cracking signing. And he's
great going forward. I agree with you.
He's great going forward. I mean, obviously, it's all opinionated or whatever, but there's no way in a million years more than half of the frigging teams in our league would absolutely die for our defence. So I'm sorry.
But do you know what though, Smarty? The thing that annoys me with this is all of our fans last season were crying out for a more attacking style. And if you want to play a more attacking style, you have to use more attacking players. That's just common sense. This is the trade-off. This is the price you have to pay if you want to play a style like that. I
mean, you look back at the icons of the club. You see players like Mr. Berardi, of a certain ilk. He wasn't really good at playing, left back or right back or whatever he decided to play. He wasn't the best. He made mistakes, but at the end of the day, he was a cracking bloke, a cracking player.
Absolutely.
After one game, throughout pre-season, he's performed really well. And he's looked really bright, and he plays well. Like I said, attacking wise, brilliant. Hopefully, it's not a Bielsa-ism where we have to score more than they score to kind of win games. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think defensively, I'm not saying that he's the best, but hopefully, he's learned from that mistake and we can move forward. I mean, he's unlucky to concede that penalty. Yes, I agreed that it should have been a penalty based on the fact that the guy had hold of him. But it's unlucky to be penalised for that when the foul started much further outside the box. It's just one of them things. You're just going to have to take it on the chin. So, but yeah, we'll see. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I was going to say earlier, and for some reason I forgot to mention it, but when we were talking about sort of feeling going into the game and that, I was a bit concerned by how many people seemed to think it were just a foregone conclusion that we were going to beat them. There's always a danger against a team that's come up on the back of a good run like that. So, I
mean, Scooby's. I mean, I understand. I understand. Scooby said he's very useful going forward, mate. 2 very basic defensive errors that cost us. Rodon also did. Are we sacking Rodon off as well? Are we going to get rid of Rodon because he made a couple of errors? It's the first game of the season. There's a bit of tension. There's a bit of apprehension in there. The crowd's fucking well up for it. Everyone's excited. Adrenaline's pumping. You got to give the lad a break. Christ, come on. It's first game of bloody season, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's first game. If he keeps doing that, then by all means, let's say what we think. But
Evening, Blaze Ray. Blaze Ray says
First
defenders
game.
must have nightmares. Bogle running at you and James on your shoulder, defo something there. Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely,
But look, Scooby's obviously saying that he's not saying that he's the worst player in the world and he's good at going forward. But we knew this about bloody Bogle. We knew that he would poor defensively. You only had to briefly dip into the chuffing, the Sheffield United, forums or anyone that's got half a brain cell on Twitter and to say that they were all saying the same. Gutted to lose him, but he's absolutely pants at defending.
Arthur Bushby says he's no good.
Okay,
like Farker, he says. Come on, Arthur, you're getting a bit extreme here, mate.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we could have won that game, but. I'm disappointed, but it's not the end of the world, is it? Surely we're not throwing in the towel at this point and declaring that we've got to get rid of this guy and we've got to get rid of the manager. And come on, guys. It's the first game. We just beat Valencia.
Football fans are fickle. You're not
Honestly.
going to please everyone. I mean, you could go through the whole of chuffing last season. You could pick out games where we were shit. Some people thought, oh, it's absolutely fine. And other players were, other people were arguing left, right, and centre on Twitter saying we're fucking absolutely dog piss and we're not going to do anything. It's subjective, innit? And people won't agree and people will see someone make a mistake and then that's it. They'll have it in for the whole season. Frigging Gilly had Rothwell written off before he'd even signed.
Yeah, he wants.
He's a great addition to our squad, So it's like I say, we'll see. Don't throw him under the bus yet, lads. Give him a chance.
Exactly. Scooby's still he's not happy with it. He says you knew he was poor defensively, so he can't be listed in a good defence. Furpo too, but okay, yes, in this league, it's probably
defenders don't just defend, though, do they? Defenders don't.
That's the thing. A defence is a unit. It's how a defence performs as a unit.
Performing defender. He's an attacking wing back. And like I say, yeah, as a defensively, yeah, I suppose the key word, yeah, he's not very good, but he's part of a defence, and part of his job is to get forward and provide overlapping runs or whatever. So we could argue. I don't want to go into this anymore because it's like I say, we're just fucking arguing for argument's sake, but.
Johnny Brown says, doom and gloom after one game, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
Ian Ward says, the only problem is not beating Pompey as the pressure cranks up for the next game. Which it does a little, but we've got a cup game next, which in a way kind of takes it off, doesn't it? But if we lose that as well, then we start to all feel a bit nervous, don't we? Even though that game doesn't matter. Not to me, anyway.
Skip says, we were all asking for Rutter to be sold this season. We got him. Now look at him. Give Bogle time. Yeah,
great point.
I mean, I think that's what we've got to do. I mean, I think everyone's got the knickers in the twist. We should have done better on the opening game of the season. I mean, there were one point where I thought, friggin' hell, is it Johnny Cooper who goes on the square ball, does the stats and stuff? He said that when we score first, we haven't lost a game all season last season, and it were 90th minute penalty, and we were losing 3-2, and we're like. Fuck. So long to that stat, and we managed to pull it out of the bag. I just think we've said it a few times. In the last 5 minutes, we just need to give it some time, give the guys a little bit of slack, and let them crack on.
I think so. You got to remember, he's playing at a different team, different system, different manager, different players around him. I'm not going to get upset if he isn't quite on it for a couple of games. I'll judge him when he's been here like 2 months.
You've started a comment that's from Gavin James, and he says, "Lads, can someone please tell me why we can't get players over the line? It's becoming a laughing joke."
I wish I had the answer to that question, mate. I really do. I don't understand it. I don't know if they're trying to really minimise what they spend and play hardball to the point that we're going to risk missing people, or if there's just more going on behind the scenes than we know about, and they're just keeping it close to the chest again. Something's got to be happening with Rowe for him not to have played. Whether it's us or Marseille, though, is the thing. But there's been nothing from any of the journos for days now about it.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily their fault. I mean, the 49ers operate quite secretively,
No,
don't
but
they?
that's what I mean. If we are signing him, it would fit that there's a bit of a news blackout for a few days.
I mean, time will tell. I mean, hopefully not too much time, because ideally you want to get it over the line before, the end of the. We don't want a Dan James sort of scenario on his hands. But I think
it's been sat in office for 6 weeks waiting for a phone call.
The Premier League kicks off this weekend. The squads are going to be pretty much whittled down to who's staying and who's obviously surplus to requirements. And I think obviously the pool of loanees will open up a little bit broader then.
Absolutely. That's when you find out.
We'll be dipping into the loan market again. And like I say, some others might become permanently available. So you just don't know, do you?
No.
We got some good players through the door at the end of the transfer window last season. So we're good enough for now. I think we'll be fine.
I think so.
We'll see.
You got teams like Chelsea with the mega squads as well. They're going to have a few players available. Loads of teams like that.
Yeah, there is.
There's more to come. Definitely more to come.
Yeah, there is. But
even if we don't get Rowe, there'll be somebody. But
all hope is not lost.
We do get him.
Apparently, I think it was Graham Smith that was saying from the YEP. He was saying that they expected Somerville to be the first one out of the door, not Archie Gray. So the Somerville replacements were always the priority sort of replacements. They've been looking at many targets over the course of the pre-season and stuff. So they've got targets. They know who they want. It's just getting the right man, isn't it?
So they've said, yeah. Do you trust them? Do you think
Absolutely.
they do have targets?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Gilly probably would say no.
Gilly, bless him. He wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he? We're absolutely ruined. We'll let the devil in. Blah 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 with Red Bull. But I mean, he's got a point, or he could have a point. But then again,
he may be the guy getting the last laugh one day, saying, "I told you all."
Fucking shit as well. It could be, it could be getting all anxious for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and it could do because it might be the best thing that's ever happened to us. It might be the worst. We don't know yet. We're in no man's land. At the end of the day, we were left an absolute shower of shit at the end of the last season. Going into last season. We had no owner, we had no manager, we had hardly any team because everyone wanted to hightail it out of here. It were an absolute shit show. And the 49ers pulled it round and managed to get us a team together and get us a good manager and stuff. Not everyone.
We got 90 points, man. We did good.
So you've got to. They've got credit in the bank for me. So I'm 100% trusting them to make sure that they get us some extra players in and to give us some more squad depth. And then crack on. Let's crack on.
I'm trusting them, and I'm hoping that the way they're doing business is because they're keeping something in reserve for January if needed.
There you go. Johnny says, Rowe wants Leeds more over going to France. Steve from Beeston tweeted it. There you go.
Take that as confirmed then, lads.
Absolute facts.
There's a couple more that I've got starred here. I'll just pull them up while we're still here. Johnny Brown, I said today, only way you stop that is stopping the clock when it goes out of play. That's about the amount of time the ball was in play.
Yeah.
I'm all for that, me. Are you?
I mean, yeah, but it won't happen.
No. It could make Saturdays pretty long, though.
I couldn't believe that the panel of teams that voted to keep VAR was so monumentally in favour of keeping it. I thought there might have been at least one or two that would have voted against it, and it ended up just being Chuffy Wolverhampton on the road.
Turkey's voting for Christmas.
And I was like, holy shit. So you can't you won't get jack shit, will you? It's like chuffing Scottish. All they want to do is be independent, but they didn't frigging vote for it, did they, dickheads? He's back down the feeds and all that sort of stuff. It's one of them.
You start getting all you're getting out of control.
Yeah,
we can't have this.
Me back in. Sorry.
Nige D said PL loans to maybe coming. I think that's what we're thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see one or two. I'd like to see potentially another 10 or some sort of another central midfielder. I think our next or our big signing, if we make the big signing, will be a winger. Will be Somerville's replacement and stuff. And then maybe a couple of people, maybe another a right or maybe like a utensil player that can play either left or right wing.
Arthur Bushby says we're after a Liverpool defender. I did see something about this. I've forgotten what his bloody name was now, though. It was a young kid.
No idea.
But if we were to sign another defender, would that not mean for sure that Verba's going?
Blazed Ray's asking, who do we loan? Unfortunately, I have not got one of them sort of brains that remembers every single person that might be available.
I'm saying, you're asking wrong pair of idiots here.
Honestly, mate, not a frigging clue. Not a chuffing idea.
I'm not very
it's
up,
not
to
that.
be honest,
It's not that
on
kind
some
of
the Premier
podcast.
League
If you want to,
stuff, so.
if you want to listen to that sort of stuff, you best go and speak to Jer or to fucking hell, Baldy. Joe, fucking hell, I couldn't think of his name. Then I'm completely gone. Joe
I'm
and
going
Jer.
to say
that'll
Luke
them-
doesn't have his own podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with their guys, their guys will know more about that stuff and who's sort of the targets and who we want to be looking for. We're just basically just sitting around having a cup of tea and a bit of a chat.
that's it. Just
In the wrong
sat here
place.
talking shit.
With me and a dickhead that's got a fucking shit top knot.
Absolutely,
That's horrendous, man.
it's ace.
Mate, I'm going to start calling you King Jong-un.
But it looks good as
gonna-
well, just like gelled back as well, which is pretty cool.
There's something wrong with what you just said
Sides,
there, James. You said it looks good.
It does, mate. You've had the same hairstyle for 20 years. You
Okay.
won't know anything.
Yeah, I couldn't change this now.
I've had
Look
about
stupid.
5 during the course of this podcast.
And you look homeless in every single one.
I must make homeless
You
look
look
good.
poorly. I
doesn't it?
look bloody poorly again. I've got long hair.
How fucking dare you?
You look better with a
Jesus
shorter beard,
Christ.
I'll be honest.
Yeah,
You do look
probably.
better with
but,
short beard.
it's good fun. It's good fun.
Anyway,
It's
it's
like
not
this.
it's not a vanity podcast. We're not talking about you fucking horrible hair.
It's not, mate. It's not.
In your beard.
We've probably jabbered on for long enough, to be honest, because there's not much more.
Yeah,
to say,
there's
is
not
there?
probably a right lot else to say, is there?
You got what else you want to tell us?
Bloody hell, full time. Luton have been dicked 4-1 by Burnley. Nice.
Jesus, that'll be why everyone in comments keeps saying Burnley look good. Then I thought they were just talking about it weekend.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday look absolutely fantastic, and they got nearly relegated last season. You know, it's one of them.
know,
It's
yeah.
first game. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can't fucking base the whole season on one fucking game. Jesus Christ, where would
No,
we be?
absolutely. There's a long way to go. Windows.
There is a long way to go.
There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff to go on yet. A lot of stuff to happen.
Have we got a podcast tomorrow?
I believe we are scheduled for one. Although
Scheduled for one.
because we've done this tonight, I don't know whether it'll.
I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure the boys will be back. I think it's supposed to be yourself, Luke, and Carl on tomorrow.
I think so. It may make
So-
more sense to do a combined B and C in the main podcast.
Well, it's going to have to be
after
tomorrow because we've
Middlesbrough.
got Middlesbrough on Wednesday, so it's going to have to be tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow
I'm
then.
Not often wrong. Not often
You're
wrong.
not, mate. That's true.
Lies. Lies.
Oh God, do you know what? It's been good to get back on and do a B and C. So yeah, cheers to everyone that's come and watched us and
Aye.
taken part. Because it'd be pointless just me and you talking because we get sick of each other after about 2 minutes, won't we?
Yeah. I'm joking. I love you, mate. I do.
Oh, I love you too, mate. It's all love on this pod.
It's, you really are trying. I'm really trying to love you a little bit more than I should do with that fucking hairstyle. But you know,
It's
who am I to
appreciated,
judge?
mate.
Who am I
Every
to
little
judge?
helps. Every little helps.
For those of you who haven't subscribed to our wonderful podcast, if you'd like to, you know, ring that little bell or whatever, get notifications and all that sort of stuff. We're a lovely bunch of lads.
We are. You never want to miss any of this. It's
Yeah.
best content on YouTube or something like that. I would give a little shout out to our mates at Andy's Man Club, but I don't have a list of any of the events.
That's a main pod sort of thing. It's not a B&C
But yeah,
thing.
I know it's not, but I like to give them a little shout out anyway. It's good to have a chat. So remember that, people. Right, so we're back Tuesday. We've got Middlesbrough in the cup on Wednesday, and hopefully some players will come through the door this week. I think that about wraps us up, mate, doesn't it?
Does indeed.
I shall see you all next time. Cheers, Smarty.
Speak to you in a bit. Cheers. See you later.
Adios.
Take care.